If you grew up wearing a house key around your neck, coming home to an empty, dark house, and making your own dinner at 7 years old, well, you are part of Generation X. You belong to the demographic that was secretly programmed by society to expect absolutely zero help. Let's dive right into this explainer.
Understanding this generational blueprint is absolutely critical. Why? Because it explains exactly why millions of adults today are essentially trapped by their own self-reliance. You see, the very survival skills that got this generation through childhood have kind of morphed into this rigid inability to ask for assistance. And that is leading straight to chronic stress, deep exhaustion, and incredibly isolated lifestyles.
So, it begs the question, what is the hidden psychological cost of being forced to grow up way too fast during the wildest social experiment of the 20th century? Today, we're going to investigate exactly how this unique childhood environment fundamentally rewired an entire generation and what it really means for those of us living through it right now.
Now, the hard historical data proves this wasn't just some nostalgic cultural feeling or a myth. When we look at the CDC's advanced report of final divorce statistics from 1986, we see a massive demographic shift. Society was aggressively moving away from the family-centric 1950s into an era focused heavily on adult self-actualization, and this was driven by historic peaks in divorce rates during the late 70s and early 80s.
To put some concrete numbers to this social experiment, the United States reached a staggering record high of 1.21 million divorces in 1981 alone. That hit a rate of 5.3 per 1,000 population. The traditional nuclear family structure was fracturing at an absolutely unprecedented speed, leaving the kids of that era to navigate the fallout mostly on their own.
Combine that with a rapid influx of mothers entering the workforce to support these new household dynamics and a severe lack of outside childcare options, and the environment radically changed. Census data actually reveals that 40% of this generation became latchkey kids. They literally spent their afternoons in empty houses, managing their own time and figuring out how to entertain and protect themselves until a parent finally came home, usually totally exhausted from work.
For so many of them, this resulted in what psychologists call parentification. Essentially, these kids were stripped of a carefree childhood. It was this stark role reversal where kids were suddenly forced to cook, clean, and self-manage just to survive an unpredictable environment and support their overwhelmed parents. I mean, sure, it was independence, but it was a forced independence.
But as these latchkey kids grew up and entered the workforce, this brings us to a fascinating new question. How does this extreme, forced self-reliance affect Gen X in modern corporate leadership roles today? After all, they're now the ones running the organizations, teams, and departments we all work in. In the modern workplace, Gen Xers are highly adept, incredibly independent problem solvers. They tend to utilize a quiet leadership style. What that means is they step back and expect their employees to operate with that exact same zero-interference efficiency they learned as kids. They really don't want to micromanage you, and they absolutely despise being micromanaged themselves. So, the crucial point to understand about their management style is exactly how they view trust. Because they grew up watching their parents lose hard-earned jobs to downsizing, and they constantly witness major institutional failures on the nightly news, they approach their careers with a very pragmatic skepticism. To a Gen X manager, blind organizational loyalty is completely dead. Trust isn't freely given. It must be consistently earned over time through reliable actions.
And this pragmatic skepticism actually leads us to a much darker psychological reality in our explainer, the manifestation of hyper-independence. See, what looks like a strong, super admirable work ethic on the outside is often, clinically speaking, a trauma response. It's a protective mechanism used to carve out control in a totally chaotic world. And it's characterized by an intense aversion to vulnerability and the deep-seated belief that relying on others is fundamentally unsafe.
This avoidant attachment style often pushes young adults and midlife professionals into what research actually calls emotional exile. It's this lonely state where they minimize the importance of relationships and deeply, deeply fear relying on anyone else. They'll just automatically say yes to taking on a crushing workload and no to ever asking for a helping hand.
Let's look at how this plays out in midlife, particularly for Gen X women, who are navigating what the singer Tracy Thorn so bluntly called Sniper's Alley. According to survey data from the British Association for Counseling and Psychotherapy, almost 2/3, that's 66%, of women over 50 are actively struggling with their mental health right now. The pressure on them is just immense.
But here is the most alarming part of this generational blueprint.
Out of those struggling, a massive 9 out of 10 women did not seek any professional help. They completely defaulted to their childhood programming of handling everything alone, behind a locked door, keeping a stiff upper lip while quietly falling apart. This hyper-independence collides violently with an absolute tsunami of midlife pressures. These women become the sandwich generation. You know, they're simultaneously caring for aging parents, supporting adult children who might be struggling with the modern economy, and navigating demanding career pivots, all while their own bodies are going through massive, exhausting changes.
And to make matters even worse, severe physiological symptoms of perimenopause and menopause, things like intense anxiety, debilitating fatigue, and low mood, are routinely misdiagnosed by the medical establishment as just purely psychological stress. So when these fiercely independent women finally do present with symptoms, the root biological cause is completely overlooked, leaving them to fight a hormonal battle with pure willpower.
The stakes of this lack of support are literally life and death. The combination of medical underrecognition, immense societal pressure, and this ingrained refusal to ask for help drives a truly tragic statistic. Suicide rates for women in England hit their absolute peak between the ages of 45 and 54.
As the author and therapist Stella Duffy notes, you cannot win in a society that values women by their fertility. Instantly, we lose value. So the absolutely crucial point here is that Gen X is experiencing an agonizing invisibility. They are forced to manage a massive biological and emotional reckoning completely unsupported, in a culture that basically tries to rush them from menopause straight toward retirement.
But there is a way to break this cycle. The goal here is shifting from trauma-based hyperindependence over to healthy independence. Now, healthy independence means you still maintain your autonomy and that incredible lifelong capability, but you finally allow yourself to seek necessary support and set secure boundaries. It means realizing that asking for help isn't a failure, it's a tool.
By actively recognizing these trauma responses, it's actually possible to transition out of survival mode. You can use neuroscience-backed nervous system regulation techniques like 4-4-4-4 box breathing. That's where you inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and hold for 4. It signals to your brain that it is safe. And from a regulated state, you can finally begin to build healthy interdependence with your community.
If this generational breakdown sounds exactly like your life, or maybe your parents' lives, hit subscribe to our channel and let us know your story in the comments below. We really want to hear how the latchkey experience shaped your world.
We're going to leave you with this final thought to consider as you go about your day. Are you still wearing that invisible house key around your neck, or are you finally ready to unlock the door and let someone help you?